Well, hello, IDS 105 students, and welcome back to week 2 here in the IDS 105 learning community. I wanted to run you through real quick what is due for your assignments for week 2, module 2 in your IDS 105 classroom. So first and foremost, when you log into that Brightspace learning environment, that learn.snhu.edu, this week you want to make sure you go to course menu, go to learning modules, and when that pulls up, you want to scroll down to module 2. Now, really quickly, as a reminder, don't forget to click on module 2 introduction, click the blue, gets you to where you want to go, and it's going to pull up your module content that's within your Brightspace classroom. Make sure that you review what you're going to be learning about this week in the learning objectives, the module overview. Always scroll all the way down and then click over, because it is so important that you also review the reading content that is within the module. This is where it'll help you answer a lot of the questions that you are being asked about on your assignments this week. For module 2, week 2, you are going to be focusing in on turning in your very first project draft, part 1. That's going to focus on social justice. And you can find a lot of that information underneath your required resources section. Don't forget to double check this space. It'll give you any chapters that you need to be reading in your assigned textbook. Plus, it'll give you some helpful videos and websites and web pages that can give you some additional support for your success in this week's module and completing your assignments. Okay, so I just wanted to remind you that here in week 2, you do have a warm-up that focuses in on social justice. Again, this is like an open book quiz. Don't let the word quiz scare you or make you nervous, because you get to use your notes on this. It's open book and you get multiple attempts on this. So if you review the reading within your module, review your chapter, and then you take the quiz and you don't do as good as you thought you should, or you want to do better, you can retake it as many times as possible to earn your highest score. Your warm-up is due by Sunday of week 2 or earlier as convenient for your schedule. The biggest assignment you're going to be focusing in on this week is going to be the very first part of your project, your part 1 draft, social justice. So as a reminder, when you click on your project part 1, you want to go ahead and click on this guidelines and rubric. And I wanted to show you a couple of things. First and foremost, you are going to see an overview of this week's assignment. Plus, you're going to see some directions. You're going to see the questions listed. But then down here, you're going to see under what to submit that you have a project template. And also you're going to see under here, underneath supporting materials, there's a project scenario document, and then you have the project guidelines and rubric. As a reminder, the project guidelines and rubric are a great way for you to know exactly how you're going to be graded on this assignment. Kind of use it like a cheat sheet of how you're going to be graded as you answer the questions for this part 1 project draft, okay? So as you scroll through that, that'll help familiarize yourself with the actual assignment and what is expected of you. For your project, you are going to be picking a scenario. You only pick one scenario. All right, y'all? There is a school scenario, a personal scenario, a workplace scenario, or a create your own scenario. You are going to pick one of those scenarios, and you are going to use that same scenario from week to week as you answer the questions on your different project drafts. Now, what I wanted to point out, this week, you're only answering these 4 questions under project part 1. When you click on this project template, what this is going to do is it's going to open up this document, okay? Your project template looks like this. It is going to have all of the questions for all of your project drafts. But this week, you are only focusing on right up here, this first part, part 1, social justice, okay? So what you want to make sure you do is first you're going to pick, so identify that chosen scenario, and you're going to put that scenario right here. And you can literally just list, I created my own, personal, work, or school. Now, if you pick a create your own scenario, you do need to put the details and information about the scenario that you have created and will be using in this spot underneath identify your chosen scenario, because your instructor is going to need to know the details and information to make sure that it's a scenario that'll work for your project for the whole term. Okay? Now, let me show you where to find those scenarios. Again, underneath what to submit is where you find that project template. If you do not yet have Microsoft Word or something compatible, remember you get Office 365 for free as an SNHU student, and Microsoft Word is part of that. Underneath supporting materials, you click on this project scenarios document. When you click the blue, gets to where you want to go, it's going to pull up this. You will notice on here it says IDS 105 project scenarios at the top. As a reminder, you're only picking one of these to help you answer the questions on that project draft template as it's assigned from week to week, and you'll use the same scenario. So make sure that you read them carefully, okay? So the very first scenario is school. And as you review it, you'll notice that it's going to talk a lot about different concepts that you're going to be working with here in IDS 105. So you have a school scenario, you have a personal scenario, the workplace scenario, and then here's the information about create your own. As a reminder, if you choose the create your own option, you have to include that detailed description of the scenario in your project template, so that way your instructor can make sure that you have enough information to use that for your project all term long. So you're going to pick your scenario first. So for example, just to give you an example, let's say that I pick this scenario 1, school. So I am going to look at this scenario because maybe it's what I best understand or I have experience with. And I'm going to use the concepts that we have learned so far in this class and any personal or professional experience that I might have with this scenario. And I'm going to use that to answer these questions in part 1. So I would put right here that I picked the school scenario. Okay. And then I will answer these questions right here. So using my scenario, I need to explain the difference between justice, fairness, and equality as they apply in my scenario. I'm going to put my response right here. Okay. So I'm going to answer this question. Here's the key. You want to make sure you write in complete sentences. You want to make sure you give enough information and detail so your instructor can see that you're applying the scenario and the concepts that you're learning in class. And if you get stuck or have questions, make sure you let your instructor know. So I'm going to use that school scenario to answer this question about explaining the difference between justice, fairness, and equality as they appear in my school scenario. And then I'm going to look at any bias that might be in my scenario and how it could impact social justice. And then I'm going to think about question number 3. Explain how different narratives circulating in society could impact how social justice is perceived in my scenario. These narratives could come from social media, the news, or among community members, or maybe personal experience that you might have. And then question 4, explain the core principles of social justice in your chosen scenario. Now, your scenario may not have all of the core principles of social justice, but you want to explain at least, at a minimum, 2 of them. Okay? So this is what I wanted to make sure that you understood, is that you have a template. You're not starting from scratch. You can open it up. You can type right in it. So here for your very first project draft, you are going to open up that project scenario document, review the scenarios, see which one you think best match what you want to work on all term, or create your own. Just remember, you have to include that information when you submit your first project draft, that part 1. And then once you pick it, you're going to open up that template and you're going to focus in on just the questions that are due for your Module 2 assignment under Part 1, Social Justice. Answer the questions, save it, and then you will upload it into your classroom space so that your project can be graded, okay? As a reminder, underneath that assignment, it'll go over all the questions. It'll have the link for the template. It has the project scenarios document. If you get stuck or you're not sure on something, this is a great time to reach out to your instructor or even utilizing the Academic Support Center. So as a reminder, if you click on Academic Support at the top of your classroom and click on this written feedback, you can submit your rough draft. You upload it and submit it, and then you'll select important areas that you want your tutor to focus on, and you'll get targeted feedback returned to you within 12 hours. This is a great service to utilize, and it's free to help you do your best on this project, okay? Remember, once you pick your scenario, that is the same scenario you're going to use all term long. Now, what if you do not have Microsoft Word or something compatible? Underneath the help icon, click on Online Student Services. And when you do that, it is going to open up the menu of all the different departments and resources here at SNHU. Scroll down about halfway and you'll see this Office 365 and other software. Click on the blue, follow the tutorial instructions to get that downloaded to your system. If you get stuck or you're not sure or you're having problems with it, you can always reach out to your SNHU advisor, or you can also connect with our technology support, the SNHU help desk, okay? So as a reminder, what is due here for week 2? You have that warm-up assignment that is due by Sunday of Module 2, or you can do it before. It's open book. You get multiple attempts. You can retry as many times as you need to earn your best score. And then you're going to have your very first project, Part 1 draft that focuses in on social justice. That is also due by Sunday of week 2, Module 2, or you can turn it in earlier as convenient for your schedule. That's it for week 2. This is going to be a great project. You're going to work on it all term. Each week you have a project part that'll be assigned. There'll be certain questions you want to make sure that you answer, and you're going to use that same scenario from week to week. If you get stuck, have questions, reach out to your IDS 105 instructor or reach out to the academic support team. Have a wonderful week 2.